Hey guys, it is Kris Jones for episode 66 of Ask Me Anything. We are going over my fourth in my four-part series of life hacks. So just a quick recap. The first one, which was video 63, is honestly, the sort of come to Jesus moment I had as a teenager, where I realized that my human potential was untapped. It was basically a coiled spring, and that anything I needed was within me right then, right there. It didn't matter that I grew up to a single mom, left-hand side of a double block. Everything was within me, and it is within you as well. So go ahead and check out that video. The second life hack is this idea that we can leverage time to our benefit instead of our detriment by simply focusing on the things we care most about, but not in our head, but by getting it down on paper and then prioritizing those things and scheduling them to change our life. What you'll see after week one, month one, year one will absolutely blow your mind. You, like me, will likely be the envy of a lot of people around you who say, how in the world, this is probably the most common thing that happens to me, how in the world do you do so much? Nah, it's the wrong thing. Hey Kris, how in the world do you do so many things that you love to do? Because that's what it's all about. The third thing, the third life hack that I shared with you in video 65 was the power of stories, or really the disempowerment of stories. And I argued that the stories we tell ourselves when shit happens in our life, whether or not those stories are empowering or disempowering, have dramatic positive or negative impacts on who we become. Are we able to be challenged, through something that would clearly be hardship, and find strength and find empowerment by telling ourselves, interpreting that life event in an empowering way? I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying that you have the power to do it. I promise you. So check out video 65. Now finally, this one is one that I have to be reminded about a lot, especially considering I have 3 young kids. And those 3 young kids are amazing, but they're also absolutely insane. They're crazy. You teach them a lesson and then they do the opposite. All 3 of them are doing the opposite at the same time. They're all beating each other up, and it's crazy, crazy, crazy. And here's why I need to be reminded of this one. Where you place your focus, right? So if you're focused on me right now, we're here together, right? Where you place your focus, your energy flows. So if I'm at my home and all 3 kids are freaking out, crazy, ultimately if I focus on the frustration and the pain of how the heck am I going to resolve this, it's going to be a lot harder than to focus on the innocence and the unconditional love that I have for these kids. And what I've learned, actually, this is more anecdotal, is that in that particular situation, the best thing to do is just grab one of the kids, pick them up, and hug them and kiss them. Sometimes they continue to swing and stuff, it's crazy, but immediately you pull them out of that state. And of course, at that point, my energy is no longer focused on them freaking out, because they're no longer freaking out, because I disrupted the pattern. But the point is that what you focus on is what you feel. And put the kid analogy aside, because not everyone watching this has kids or could relate to that. Can you think of a situation where someone just pissed you off? Maybe they were justified, maybe they weren't. In your head, they probably weren't justified, but that's not the point. The point is that by focusing on that, do you think it makes it better or worse? Of course it makes it worse. It amplifies it. Here's a good example. Do you ever get into an argument with someone and you're so far along and both of you are so worked up that you both forget whatever started the argument? That's the reason. The reason is because all you're focused on is winning. So where you focus your energy, where you focus your energy flows. Now, instead of the regular sort of life situations, what would happen if you became more self-aware? Or if your loved ones, like my wife all the time will remind me, if I kind of get a little out of sorts, if I get depressed or if I get negative or whatever, she said, hey, Kris, don't forget, What you focus on is what you feel. But if we could create more of a self-awareness around this idea, this fact, this reality, that if we focus and amplify negative stuff, negative events, negative, basically the problems that we have in our life, maybe we become, we feel like we're powerless, like we don't have the resources. You almost feel like drained with no energy, versus having the ability to focus on positivity and focus on solutions and focus on the reality that most things shall pass. Most things, almost everything, will find a way of getting resolved. The other thing is, if you focus, let's just use the argument analogy again. If you focus on just winning the argument, there is no winner. There's two losers, right? But if you realize, again, similar to my analogy earlier with the kids, if you could break the pattern, that's actually a technique that I learned back in my psychology days, but it's also a behavioral modification technique where if you break the pattern of like a negative focus, just by focusing on something else, just by doing something out of the ordinary or startling in the middle of an argument. Remember, you've already forgotten what you started to argue about. If you break the pattern well enough, now you forgot that you're even arguing, and the argument stops. Of course, you guys know me well enough to know that I won't just leave it there. This isn't just about realizing that our where we focus is where our energy flows as it relates to negative life situations. Guess what? When we focus on your passions and things that make you happy, and we become self-aware of that, of the feelings we experience when we do that, what happens? The worries start to go away. All of the problems that you don't have the time to deal with or the solution to deal with go away. And the amazing thing, and this is why I think this is a life hack, is that by controlling your focus as much as possible on things that are positive and empowering, honestly, all of the biggest challenges start to find solutions. And if you don't believe me, I encourage you to try it. Go ahead and post your comments, share with me in private if we see each other, whether or not this is true. Whether or not you think you're going to end up in a better place by focusing on what you don't like about your significant other, or what isn't going right in your life right now, right? You think that's going to help? You think that's going to lead to the solutions you want to turn things around? Or do you think by focusing your energy on solutions, on the positive parts of your life experience right now, I think that's what's going to lead you to your ultimate destiny. I will see you guys for video 67. This is Kris Jones saying, see you guys soon.